Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now March 9th of 2024, and given that there's a lot of problems happening over at Marvel Studios as we speak between those like Bob Iger, Kevin Feige, Ryan Reynolds of Deadpool 3, and let's not forget about Shawn Levy, the director of that film. We already know that Bob Iger is already wreaking havoc over at Lucasfilm as well as Walt Disney Animation Studios, and his overall plan for his cost-cutting measures, aka his cost-cutting plan, basically, that is going to basically back off and cut on a lot of funds related to upcoming productions for 2025 and beyond. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, I've said this numerous times, but Deadpool 3, without a doubt, is basically Disney's saving grace for 2024. And it's kinda odd that they are banking on this movie, yet they are still planning to push their DEI agenda with upcoming reshoots planned for April that are set to last until May, just before the overall movie arrives in theaters by this July. Now, moving things forward here quite a bit, we know that there's been a lot of drama happening between Ryan, Shawn, Rhett, and Paul going up against the Disney heads, trying to save the third act of this film to prevent this movie from basically becoming a bait and switch where the first two acts are fine, and then out of nowhere, the third act is like something out of Disney completely. So let's get into all of this, shall we? Now, we know a lot about Brie Larson. She's been very bitter lately. She's been very angry with the Marvel fans. She's been taking things out on the general public and blaming others for the failure of the Marvels. Now, what's interesting about this, moving onwards, is that with Bob Iger already heading into damage control for many projects lined up for 2025, one major development has much to do with Ryan Reynolds for the current situation, revolving around Deadpool 3. Now, a crucial update revolving around the third Deadpool film, of course, to this ongoing drama now involves Brie Larson for the third Deadpool movie as Captain Marvel, and how Ryan recently took serious action against Disney and Marvel Studios. A shocking turn of events is that though many of Brie Larson's scenes and cameos as Captain Marvel were already deleted and axed from the script and planned rehearsals, some still, of course, remained and were being forced by Bob Iger for upcoming reshoots related to Deadpool 3, featuring more cameos and even redoing some of them. However, those like Ryan and Shawn Levy recently gathered themselves with writers Rhett and Paul to face Disney in a head-to-head battle of canceling Brie's return as Captain Marvel altogether. The main reason being is that Ryan did not want the drama surrounding the Marvels movie to attach to this Deadpool film, something that Brie Larson was actually fighting for behind the scenes, since this was going to be her last project for the MCU practically, after getting quietly fired. Even after admitting that she did not want to return for the role, the reality behind the scenes is that Deadpool 3 was going to be Brie's last hurrah, and Brie was desperately pulling strings with producer Kevin Feige to insert herself into the third act to be the strongest Marvel character in the film, to teach Deadpool a lesson about the Fantastic Four and Galactus. It turns out, after many heated arguments between Reynolds and the Disney heads, Disney recently caved, yet again, to Ryan's demands by flat-out canceling Brie Larson as Captain Marvel from the third act and some cameos for the Fantastic Four, but not all were also deleted in the process. This created a grudge between both Ryan and Brie after this process was created, and Larson is already attempting to reinstate her role in the film by taking things up with Kevin Feige for the last-minute reshoots to be fine-tuned and catered to her. This is something, however, that Ryan Reynolds wants to stop for conversations happening between Kevin and Brie. And in return, it's also creating tensions between Reynolds and Kevin Feige in the process. Now, the Captain Marvel scene that was deleted altogether by Ryan, since Disney gave him the final call to make that decision and to fire Larson from the set, is that it also involved Captain Marvel fighting off a series of mutants from different universes with ease. Something that was pushed to be written by Kevin Feige onto writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. Now, guys, let me stop here one moment. Now, again, I mean, you can see what Kevin Feige is attempting to do here. It's almost like he wanted to use Captain Marvel in Deadpool 3 to get another shot after the failure of the Marvels, right? And we all know about the Marvels. Not only was it a box office disaster, it is a ratings disaster on Disney+. Like, nobody is watching this thing on streaming. It's doing terribly, and it is basically bombing for the second time, if you want to say that. So, when you look at everything related to it in that sense, I'm very glad that Ryan is the one who stands up for the fans, very much like how Henry Cavill does the same exact thing for fans, alright? These are the two type of actors. It's very rare in this day and age. You also got people like Gina Carano, so that's a third one right then and there. But they stand up for the fans and for fandoms, for communities that really love pure entertainment and agenda-free nonsense. So, of course, we know that they want to, as in Disney, they want to push their agenda and their nonsense. And they don't want to become agenda-free when it comes to Deadpool 3. That's just a given at this point. But moving on, alright, on top of that, in addition to all of this, Ryan also made the call to, of course, ban Brie Larson from the set of Deadpool 3, since she was given, of course, the liberty to visit it. This was granted by both Bob and Kevin after many heated arguments on how she was creating so much noise from her planned scenes. Drama similar to this also happened a couple of weeks ago with She-Hulk actress Tatiana Maslany, who was set to return as She-Hulk in Deadpool 3, we talked about this as well, who was also removed from the third act. This is one of the few victories that Ryan has had for Deadpool 3, with the many forced agendas and pushes coming from the Disney heads for the planned reshoots by this April. Like again, they are planned to last from April until May, before its July release date window, of course, happens. Now again, about those reshoots, we know that there is going to be a removal of some scenes that will be replaced with others, and to top it all off, they're also going to be adding in new stuff. Some stuff that fans will be opposed to, some things hopefully will be quite a shocking surprise to many. Now again, we know that Ryan Reynolds is not a big fan of reshoots when it comes to Deadpool movies especially, but this is yet again another example of Kevin Feige pushing for reshoots and adding in, most likely, more DEI, as we have been talking about this for quite a number of months now, and it is actually happening now. It is getting closer to that point where reshoots are going to start, and Ryan and Sean are just battling out against Bob Iger to prevent as much garbage as possible, and I'm glad that they got rid of Captain Marvel by Brie Larson and the cringe dialogue that was set to come along with it, and how it really was going to serve no purpose. I mean, look, you don't want Deadpool 3 to basically be an advertisement and full of endless cameos that just make no sense at all, right? You want to have some kind of story attached to those cameos that makes some form of sense, right? Something. You don't want to just throw everyone in there just for the sake of doing it, because at that point, you kind of get desensitized to it, right? Where any cameo is just like, whatever, you know, he's there or she's there, doesn't matter at this point. So you kind of want to use your cameos wisely, is what I would like to say, to make them more surprising. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.